This story is a chilling reminder of the unexplained mysteries lurking in the world, and the courage it takes to face them. This chilling story comes from Sandeep, an Indian truck driver living in the United States. Over the years, Sandeep has braved many challenging roads and weather conditions. His work often takes him through mountainous terrains and dense forests. But one night, an experience on a snowy forest road left an indelible mark on his life. Sandeep was on a routine trip, hauling 2 trailers attached to his truck. As usual, his journey took him through long stretches of isolated roads surrounded by forests. The day had passed, and the snowfall was intensifying as night descended. The headlights of his truck struggled to pierce through the dense snow, making visibility almost non-existent. Exhausted, he decided to stop and rest. He found a spot by the roadside, parked his truck, and prepared to take a break. After closing the curtains on the windshield and side windows, Sandeep made himself comfortable in the cabin. He heated some water and cooked Maggi noodles to satisfy his hunger. The snow outside was relentless, and the eerie silence of the forest heightened his unease. After eating, Sandeep lay down in the back of the cabin. The heater kept the space warm, but the quiet was so intense that even the faintest sound from outside seemed amplified. Just as he was about to relax, he heard a sound that sent chills down his spine, a soft, deliberate crunch of footsteps in the snow. At first, Sandeep thought it was his imagination. But as he listened more intently, the footsteps grew louder and closer. His heart raced. Who could be walking in this desolate forest in such bone-chilling cold? He lay still, holding his breath, hoping that whoever, or whatever, it was would move on. The footsteps stopped right outside his cabin. Sandeep's mind raced. The truck's doors were locked, and the curtains ensured no one could see inside, but the tension was unbearable. After a moment of silence, he heard the unmistakable sound of someone trying to open the driver's door. The door handle jiggled, but the lock held firm. Whoever was outside began walking around the truck, their footsteps crunching through the snow. They reached the passenger's side and tried the door there as well, but it was locked too. Sandeep was paralyzed with fear, his ears straining to catch every sound. Then, silence returned. The intruder seemed to have moved away. But just as Sandeep began to calm down, he heard more footsteps, this time, multiple sets. 2 more people seemed to have joined the first. He could hear faint whispers, but the language was unfamiliar. Peeking cautiously from behind the curtain, he saw no one, yet the voices continued. Unable to bear the suspense, Sandeep decided to start the truck and leave. He removed the curtain from the windshield, turned the key, and switched on the headlights. To his horror, the beams illuminated 3 figures standing a short distance away, a man, a woman, and a child. Their appearances were grotesque, their faces pale and gaunt, with blood smeared across their features. The child waved at him with an eerie innocence. Sandeep panicked, shifted into gear, and pressed the accelerator. But the truck didn't move. It was stuck in the snow. The figures began moving toward him, their movements unnaturally slow but deliberate. Frantically, Sandeep kept pressing the accelerator, and just as they came within arm's reach, the truck broke free and sped away. He glanced in his side mirror and saw the 3 figures standing motionless, watching him drive off. Relieved but shaken, Sandeep continued his journey. However, the snowfall worsened, and the truck skidded on black ice, coming to a halt on the side of the road. Unable to move, Sandeep used the truck's walkie-talkie to call his base for help. The control room located him on their system and directed him to a workshop 5 kilometers away. Armed with a flashlight and wrapped in a thick jacket, Sandeep decided to walk to the workshop. The path was treacherous, and the snow made each step arduous. As he trudged along, he noticed footprints in the snow, 3 distinct sets. They led in the same direction he was heading. Eventually, Sandeep came upon an old, dilapidated house in the middle of the forest. The footprints led straight to the door. Summoning his courage, he peeked through the windows. Inside, a fire burned in the fireplace, but the rooms appeared empty. Hesitantly, he opened the door and stepped inside. The house was eerily silent. As Sandeep explored the rooms, he found no one, but a faint feeling of being watched lingered. Suddenly, the walkie-talkie crackled to life, and a voice from his base called out, "Sandeep, are you okay?" The sound startled him, and moments later, he heard a dog barking outside. Panicked, he hid in a small storeroom. Peering through a crack in the door, he saw the same 3 figures enter the house. They moved strangely, sniffing the air as if they could sense his presence. The child approached the storeroom door, his eerie, unblinking eyes scanning the area. Sandeep, desperate, grabbed a heavy object in the dark and smashed a light bulb to create a diversion. He bolted from the house, running through the snow as the dog's barks echoed behind him. After what felt like an eternity, Sandeep found a narrow road that led to the workshop. There, a kind family helped him recover his truck. As he recounted his harrowing experience, they told him about the house. "That's the old Miller house," the workshop owner explained. "The family was murdered by bandits in 1915. People say their spirits still wander the area, seeking help from travelers." Before leaving, Sandeep took a photo with the family. But when he developed the picture later, he was horrified to see the same 3 figures standing in the background, watching him silently.